Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. You know what? I was about to dab my eyes and I forgot where we were at. Well, anyways, I hope you guys had a good weekend because my week has been hell. And this morning we're watching the kids and one of the kids has been throwing up all night. So we'll be taking the over-under on whether we make it through the stream without Asher throwing up on us. But in the meantime, let's go and look at the charts and see what we have done overnight here. So we had a pretty big drop in the treasuries, interest rates rising, and we are back above 4%. And it has continued to go even lower in the overnight session. And like, of course, we are in like no man's land, which is to say, like, how far can it go? Nobody knows. We're retracing all of this over here from back in August. Might be worth looking at the daily chart with this one, in fact. You can see, so there is some real momentum. I think that you're likely to see some momentum traders pop in here a little bit. So be careful about that. I think that there could be some continuation here. Going to the S&P 500, they have given up some of their gains from Friday overnight, but it looks like not too bad. They're kind of on the upturn at the moment. Oil taking another little jump, but coming back pretty heavy. There's all sorts of crazy things going on over there, driving the prices back up. Gold and silver still kind of holding these ranges here. Copper also, well, copper I would say more at the bottom end of its range after what was a really crazy bull run. And then the Japanese yen continues to be weak and some pretty big movement overnight as reports that the bank wants to continue to remain dovish. So yeah, that's kind of that Japanese yen. It don't look so good. And then the Bitcoin actually moving a little bit. It's an interesting little cup there. But still just kind of like to where they were. So I don't know, but you know, above 60K, that's good for them. So take what you can get in crypto. Doesn't move a whole lot these days. All right, so first thing I got here is I need a new box of Kleenex. Hopefully this box won't fall apart. I'll be right back. Davia says, good morning, went short and I'm done for the day. Wow. Yeah, it's a direct hit. This I was wondering. So Uzi, are you going to try and stick it out? I'm a little. This one is kind of weird to me. Not the hurricane itself, but like the way that they're reacting to it and everything. Because Florida's doing like, you know, full evacuation, encouraging everybody to evacuate, and like they think that the storm is gonna, you know, sputter out before it even gets to landfall. So supposedly, at least the current models suggest that it's not going to be a very strong storm and that it's just gonna kind of be a tropical storm by the time it gets there. But this is my 4th hurricane, just buckle up. Oh, I'm in Central Florida. We don't evacuate people, evacuate to us. Oh, is that what it is? When they say to evacuate, they're talking about people on the shore? I've taken category 4s and 5s where I'm at. I always worry about my 2 oak trees. Ooh, you have oak trees. That's nice. But aside from that, no big deal. Okay. Well, that's all very interesting to me. I don't know. Do you think that, because, well, let's see if we can go to the hurricane tracker. Okay. I'm talking about hurricanes. But the thing I'm dealing with right now is children throwing up. He picked up the throw up bowl. Guys, I gotta level with you, man. I have had, or rather, I am having about as rough as it can get. Not as rough as it's been for some people in Appalachia, right? I haven't lost the house. But it's pretty rough, man. Job market is, you know, I'm pretty well positioned within the job market, but the job market is not good. And I don't know, like I got one interview set up right now, but I don't know if this one's kind of weird. I didn't think that they would even take my resume, but I mean, I can do it. I can do anything, but you know, they tend to be particular about those sorts of things. So I'm like a little bit skeptical about how that one will go. And like the issue is I think we got like a month, and if we can't get something done in the next month, I think it's pretty likely that I won't be able to find a job until the beginning of the year. And then Asher, he was throwing up all the night before and all night last night, and pretty much just laid and slept all day yesterday, actually. And my wife is working today, so I'm taking care of the kids today. I won't be really doing a whole lot of work. I will just be watching them. Yeah, so now he's crying out for me. He hasn't thrown up, but I'm gonna go check on him. That was not a child throwing up. That was just Ethan deciding to whine and kind of only sort of wake up, but not actually wanting to wake up. Remember, Uzi, Kamala will give you a whopping $750. Yeah, I have a chainsaw. I tell you what, man, that one's pretty weird. Who was it? Tom Cotton. He was on the TV, and they were like, well, you know, it would be accurate about what's going on and everything. Like, they have given a certain amount of funds and yada, yada, yada. And he was pointing out, like, hey, the administration has no problem finding the money when they need it, when they want it, like for student loan debt forgiveness. I think that's a better example than the Ukraine war thing, because, like, I think there's a pretty good argument to be made that we should be making some spend in Ukraine, and that it's a pretty trivial amount that we're making relative to the rest of the defense budget. But like student debt forgiveness, that just straight up shouldn't be happening. That's like a huge debt burden that we're taking on. It's completely unnecessary. They had no problem funding that. Putting it on debt, that is. They didn't really fund it, did they? They're just doing it. My area chainsaw, generator, fuel, refrigerator that dispenses water, air fryer, grill. Don't need anything else. Like, I don't hoard water and ice for storm prep. Man, I tell you what, the people, when we were having the port strikes and everything, people hoarding toilet paper was crazy. We went to Costco and there was, you know, over it because the toilet paper is kind of around in the corner, you know. And there was a sign there that's like, no toilet paper today. Next delivery is tomorrow. And there was just all of these people sitting around the sign looking at it like, what are we going to do now? Like, I just can't. Yeah, that's how we learned that 90% of toilet paper is produced in the US and not imported. People are retarded. I know, it's so bizarre, isn't it? It was just so funny to me how many people were just sitting there dumbfounded like, well, now what do I do? Like, it really is like people are just retarded, I think. They hoard, man, it's so bad. It's pretty funny. Anyways, where was it going? Oh yeah, I was over here looking to see if because there's another storm behind this one, isn't there? Maybe not. The ones out in the Pacific look like they're all going to turn up and hit Europe. Yeah, and before that, I was lamenting about the job search. Like, the job search hasn't gone poorly, but it is really not the market. Like, the times in the past where I've had to switch jobs, or I have switched jobs, because it's only happened to me once before, and it was like I got another job immediately, right? Much better market than it is now. And I think me getting a job so fast was in part because of that market. And now that market's not so good, and we're coming up on a pretty bad seasonal time of year where people don't want to hire November and December. I might be stuck until January. I guess that means we get lots of videos to make. With my wife working, and she's going to be switching over to full time, we should be okay. Should be okay. And any shortfall that we do have, I can make up with savings. So, like, it's not the end of the world. But I think I got a rough couple of months ahead. Like, if it's anything like the past day and today are likely to be. She didn't work yesterday, so I don't have to do anything. But today is probably going to be hell. Probably going to be hell, man. But that's okay. That means that we probably get the chance to make a lot of videos. I really, man, doing it over the weekend. So I wasn't able to finish my video on index funds. Like, I got the A-roll all edited up, but I wanted to try and add more B-roll bits to break it up a little, at least a little bit. And I got to make a thumbnail. But like, the more that I think about it, the more I really want to make the prop firms are for suckers video. Like, I've made a lot of videos that are kind of like, here are prop firms, here's kind of the problems with them and all of that sort of stuff. I haven't made a video that's intentionally inflammatory. The one that's gonna, everybody that wants to take the prop firm tests right now will be triggered by and want to comment on and stuff like that. That's the intention. And I really want to make that video now. Like, Top Step Trader, I think they're legit because they have a 2-step process. They do tell you about it, kind of. You know, it's not so clear from their front page, but if you browse around and you read all of the rules and you do all of the stuff that you should do before you do one of these combine things, they pretty clearly state that you have to go through 2 levels before you're actually a quote-unquote funded trader. So I say that's legit. But the rest of them are really, you're taking a test to determine if they'll let you join their bucket shop is really what that is. So it's like you get funded and then you don't get a live account. You're actually trading against the prop for that. It's a bucket shop. It's a bucket shop. I think that I'm going to call them prop firms. Like should the title of the video be prop firms are for suckers? Because I don't really like the term prop firm. Prop firm is like, you know, we have our own money and we're going to give you some of that money to trade. And we primarily make our money by trading that our own money. But if they're trading against you, you're primarily making your money from people losing the combines. That's not a prop firm. That's a bucket shop. So should I call it that, or should I call it funded trader programs? Nah, I think I'm going to call it prop firms. Actually, I wonder if I can do a search. Like, let's see here. Google Trends. As I'm talking here, the treasuries are going down for another low. Oh, actually, they already did it. They already did a new low. I'm a little skeptical about that one. That did not go through quite the way that like a normal new low like that should. And there's some iceberging and like big volume there. So it might do this, like it'll come back up to maybe 16 or 17 and then, you know, it'll be more of a zigzag downtrend. We'll see. There's 8K iceberg at 14 they've gotten through. Hmm. 14 was my hero trade spot? Well, that's interesting. Well, according to Google Trends, the two were kind of going along swimmingly together until about April of this year for some reason. All of a sudden, people started using the term prop firm. Interesting. So is that the most common term that we use for it? ZT super weak. Well, I'm seeing the most velocity in the 5-year. It does seem treasuries driven too, by the way. Like the Japanese yen is going with it, but not very strongly. I'm not seeing a big move in the dollar. So that seems to be driven primarily by, and there is flow, of course, in the treasuries. So that looks to me like the 5-year pulling and the 10-year pulling and the 30-year just kind of getting dragged along. Is there a subreddit just for funded trader programs? What's the deal with prop trading firms? How does a prop firm work? Best prop trading firm. Okay, so I am kind of getting some of those signs of like a low liquidity area for me. Because there was some big transactions there and it's backed up and now it's not. The selling's not really coming through anymore. So I do kind of think that they backed off. Funny, I'm still thinking through my head the things that I want to say in a video about prop firms. I'm like, well, they're for suckers. It's a legitimate service, but it's a legitimate service for suckers. That's It does seem to me that people call them prop firms now. Am I wrong? Wow, they're coming back. They're coming back. I can't, you know what? I would, there's no way that you would have been able to convince me to take a hero trade at 14. Like, because I'd be sitting there thinking, you know what? It looks like they are developing a little bit of a hole in everything. But that doesn't mean that it's going to reverse. It may just go sideways and sit there forever. But, like, look, that reversed enough to take a trade. Like, it would have worked. It would have worked.
Block buy.
Oh, whoa. Are we getting Israel stuff? What's with that one? I think there must be something going on out there because that was a big move. Well, I don't see anything out there yet. From the NHC, we get that Hurricane Milton rapidly intensifies into a Category 4 hurricane. Oh boy, we have the Rasmussen report stuff out too. Let's look at that. Good morning. We have Trump up by 2% nationally, and Atlas Intel has him up by 3%. Published reports from battleground states have Harris weakening. How does the polling industry respond? By releasing 0 new national results for a full 3 days. You gotta love this guy. You gotta love this guy. But what is... Show me the lines. I really think it is what it is. I really think that at some point you will start to see a polling collapse. Oh, what's this? Accelerating. Oh, that's so weird. Mark Mitchell has this other chart that's just showing Pennsylvania winner. I think this is from, this is from Polymarket. And the Republican is represented by blue. Jeez. Okay, now there's a big stack at 17.5. What do you think? You think that that was endogenous, or do you think that there was a headline? I don't think that the hurricane intensifies into a Category 4 hurricane headline would do that. Okay. Live Squawk reposts and Michael Stein. I reported on Can News that the U.S. administration offered Israel a, quote, compensation temptation package if they refrain from attacking certain targets in Iran. So that strongly suggests to me that they are moving up because of concerns that an Israeli strike is imminent. Seems to me that they would not be putting a story out like that at this time if a strike was imminent, though. So I think that the hero trade there was pure dumb luck. I think it was pure, because I do think it was headline driven. I'm not 100% sure what the headline was, but I do think it was headline driven. Somebody puked hard. Does that mean sell it? I don't know. You know what? I'm a little bit torn here. Because part of me says, hey, go short treasuries and just hold it to the end of the year or something like that. But then something else says, things could turn south real quickly. Like, I don't know. You know, when I come back to here, like a daily chart. Oh, by the way, I'm not streaming over on the Discord. Let's do that. Start the stage. Share your screen. Go live. Okay, so here in the treasuries, I kind of thought that this should have come back and done this sort of thing. So I was a little bit skeptical of this entire rise and or, well, maybe not as much this one. So let me redraw this. I think that it should have gone like, come back a little bit, then it still would have done this, but then we'd be here. So if I were to talk about like from a fundamentals perspective, right? I gotta be careful when I talk about this because it's not like it might lead somebody to the impression that like markets are efficient, and if they're not efficient, then that's a mistake and it will eventually come back. There's nothing that says that it has to come back. Okay, people would have to trade it for it to come back. But if we're getting, you know, more really good economic activity and everything, people will sell it. Could come back down to here. So does that mean that they're going to come back down to like this 200-day moving average, perhaps? It's kind of like one spot. We're at the 100-day moving average is about where it bounced, by the way. Yeah, interesting. What do you got here, Uzi? Imagine the U.S. voter demographics concerns turned the national security of a supposed ally. You know what, though? It kind of does seem to me that this situation in Israel is having significant impacts on U.S. politics and U.S. foreign policy and like things all across the board. And it's just nobody's saying it because it's kind of all probably under the table. But like there's definitely been a change in behavior and everything. It kind of so here's what I think is going on. I think that when Israel was attacked, that was kind of like a pretty big shift in Israeli foreign policy. And I think that especially when like Kamala Harris took over and kind of snubbed Netanyahu, that Israel kind of said, okay, we're not going to rely on Democrats in the United States anymore. And meanwhile, Iran has kind of been like, if we don't get a Democrat in again that helps us, we're screwed. Like some of the things that I'm seeing. So for instance, Iran, they have like a port where all of their oil comes from, and their oil is like 80% of their exports. They just, that's like all they got. And so Iran is absolutely terrified that Israel will like damage the oil, right? And the problem is that, you know, Iran, they're selling it all to China. So Iran is very, very dependent on China. But China is not very dependent on Iran. It's only like 15% of the oil. So, I mean, if that 15% went offline completely, that would cause some harm to China, but nothing too bad. And so, and meanwhile, like Iran's budget is imploding and all of these other things, and they're kind of having to leave their proxies hanging a little bit. So yeah, I this whole thing about like Iran is trying to assassinate Donald Trump and all, I totally believe it. Or well, of course we know that it's a thing, but I think that it's like way more serious than people might initially realize, like, because Iran is kind of back against the wall right now. Iran's kind of in a similar situation to me right now, kind of looking at this and going like, the near future doesn't look so good. You know? Okay, well, the 10-year came back. Decent amount. Rugosoft, welcome into our Discord stage. That's a new name I don't recognize, so I just wanted to make a call out to you and make sure that you're loved. I'm waiting for the other Octavius. What's up? You go into the Discord. It's up there. That's just for you, so that you can see that line. You can see there's the line right way up there. It's not quite a ways away, though. Oh, see, now he joins. There he is. Good deal. Good deal. Yeah, by the way, for those of you that are on the private Discord and you're on the stage, you want to ask a question or you want to like make a comment and you want to like get on voice, you just raise your hand and I can give you the stage. If you want to be shy, that's perfectly fine too. Now what's this Rasmussen? Okay, this is worth talking about because this is relevant to me. So this is from a CNBC article. They're saying the sentiment behind the song that men often want to feel like breadwinners and supreme heads of their household and can resort to toxicity when they feel deprived of an opportunity to play these roles is arguably the most dominant theme of this year's elections. Men have done such an effective job of promoting these roles as, quote, male birthrights, that the sense of loss felt by not fulfilling any one of them can break a man to pieces if he lacks self-esteem. Yeah, I think there's some projection in there. Like, of course, if like I'm not happy about losing my job, but like the last thing on my mind is, oh, this makes me less of a man. Okay, no, that's like way back there behind. How are we going to pay the bills? Because she just can't make as much money as me, right? Like, I feel like it's this sounds like such a tone deaf, like clearly coming from people that have never had to worry about those sorts of issues. But that's interesting that that's the line that they're still playing over there on MSNBC. Is there not like an r/platforms on Reddit? Oh, there is an r/platforms. 120 members. But there's no real posts on that one. Cost basis looks good for today. You really think they can get all the way up there, though? I guess they probably could, given how quickly they came across that range when we had, like, news. I tried Top Step and failed miserably for 2 years. Should I try a new prop firm or just use my own money? You should probably stop trading. Because by random chance, you should pass combine 30% of the time. So if you don't, there's something wrong with your strategy. I'm hoping that Asher is better, that he's not going to throw up. But it was just like a 24-hour thing, and that throwing up last night was the end of it. And that's my hope. You know what I need to do is I need to go onto YouTube. And let's go onto YouTube with an incognito window. New private window. Trading Wizard, what are you looking for? Well, I would like to make a video that is essentially prop firms are for suckers. And the question is, should I call it prop firms or funded trader programs or combines or what? And I think that people are calling them prop firms now. But I'm just kind of, you know, looking around. Here are the best ones. Da, 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 da. See, they're calling them prop firms. Those don't have as many views as I would think, as I would have thought. If I didn't mean to click that. Because if I'm come over to my own channel, my top video is 130,000. So almost double those. I would think that the top videos on this subject would be higher up. Our prop firm challenge. So this is kind of a similar video. It's the one that I would like to make. Look, here's one from 3 weeks ago. Wow, there's a lot of people on YouTube that I've never seen or heard of before doing this stuff. Oh, man. With the dawn. I can't. Are you kidding me? This is... You see this thumbnail for this guy? Oh, my gosh. He has 97 people watching. That's sad. That's sad. Even if it's like to be ironic, that's still a little bit disturbing to me. Oh man. How to exploit futures prop firms. Okay, 89,000. That's getting a little bit better. Okay. The ultimate guide to passing. Yeah, I can see what people are interested in, huh? What if I search for funded trader? Daniel Inskeep. His video is, I tried becoming a funded day trader. And his video has 400,000 views. That's kind of more what I'm looking for. So I'm kind of like wondering, okay, so if I made a video, can I get my video recommended under Daniel Inskeep? Well, I've done that. I've tried doing that before, and I don't know if it really worked very well. But let's see what else we got. How to pass a funded accounts. The real truth about funded accounts. That's so interesting. Even though Google Trends says prop firm, it seems to me like the videos over here about funded the funded trader and why they shut down. Oh, they were the ones. And then it gives me the best prop firms again. I wonder, do I have a tool over here in analytics? Well, YouTube thinks that I should make a video, proven strategy for day trading. What do you look for in a bond trade setup? I'm looking for something that I know that not everybody else in the market knows, that I think has a very high probability of dominating the order flow. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a situation where I basically know what it's going to do. None of this, you know, if you wait for this situation and all of these moons align and everything, and then there's a probability that it's going to come up. And no, don't mess with that. Do you have some setups you can show us that you've taken? Yeah, although not necessarily as of late, because I haven't taken many live trades. I'm trying to think of what were the ones where we did take live trades a week or two ago and did well with. I can't remember now. So I have one video that is about like the ultimate guide to trading the news. And in that one, I show you with some examples of trades that I took. So that's a good one to go to. That's one of those hidden gems on the channel that, you know, don't get promoted by the YouTube algorithm, but it has some really good content in them. Yeah, some sim prop firms can work well if you're a good trader. Take the payout and put it in a real broker account. Sure. I just don't understand why people like. There's the whole thing that's like there's a split, and like the first $25,000, there's no split on, and I'm sitting there like, you take $25,000 out. Like, why wouldn't you at that point go and fund your own account? I don't understand. If you are such a great trader, why don't you just start a small account? And like the whole thing thrives on people thinking that they're gonna hit it big with the leverage when they really don't have any kind of a track record to suggest that they'll be successful at it. There you go, Rude. Exactly. Like straight up, if you're in the future space, I really think that for most retail traders, that trading futures is really just a kind of like an interim thing so that you can hop off onto something bigger. So a $25,000 account, now you can go and day trade stocks. So now you have more opportunities. You can stick to situations and activity that is more favorable to the way that you like to trade. There's some advantages to that in stock trading. Or you can stay in futures and you can swing trade. And there's a lot of proven momentum strategies on kind of more of a swing trade level that I think would make a lot more sense for what most retail traders want to do, because most retail traders are trying to do technical analysis and all that sort of stuff. You should be swing trading. You should be swing trading a portfolio and doing all of the fancy portfolio programming kind of stuff to backtest your strategy, right? So I don't understand why you wouldn't move up. But again, the people that are doing the funded trader programs, they're just thinking about, oh, I'm going to become rich, or I'm going to do this for a living. Yeah, sim prop firms are not letting people. That's funny that you call them sim props. It does seem to me that the term prop firm has taken over a little bit, but it's unclear to me if that is the best term to use on YouTube or not. And maybe I need a YouTube keyword. This tool is under maintenance, so okay, fine. So if I search for prop firm, YouTube says it has 2,062 YouTube monthly search volume. Then it won't let me do it again. Hey, Paul, slept in today? Oh, kiss. Basically, you can get risk for 60. What do you mean by that? I don't know. So, like, I think the video that I want to make here is going to be like, okay, there's scam. I hate that they're called prop firms. Here is the Monte Carlo simulation that I have for this. It shows that you should, if you're just taking random trades, be able to pass it 30% of the time. And then go into, well, the real problem with the funded trader programs is that they're encouraging you to trade with super high leverage. And really, if you want to be consistent trader, you should be going for smaller. You should be taking on less risk. Basically, they encourage you to trade such high risk strategies that you're basically guaranteed to blow up at some point. Like most of these guys, even these guys, let's not say most of these guys, even these guys that are claiming to have made hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars from prop firms are saying that they lose the accounts and have to start over. What's your threshold for ZN block orders? Right now I have it set to 3,000. Oh, it's not this one. It's this window over here. That is not right. No, that's the one that shows everything. This one. There we go. Block trade, 3,000. This one I only show 1,000 lot orders and above, and I only make the sound if it's 3,000. You have a ton of prop firm accounts. So I wondered, because with the way that Top Step describes it, they have like a sizing strategy. So it kind of sounded to me like that if you don't continue to trade with the amount of leverage that they want you to, that, you know, there's problems or something. But maybe they just never look. Because if I was going to come in and try and do like a prop firm sort of a thing, yeah, I would probably come in here with like 3 treasury contracts and just find a spot where I think that it's going to range a little bit and make a tick or two. I guess you can't do that anymore because they don't want you to trade treasuries. So you have to do it in the S&P 500. This is like, or oil. I guess I would do it in oil probably. Most people don't treat the account like real money. Mm-hmm. You should offer an alternative. Yeah, like a super small. So yeah, exactly. Come and trade micro treasury yield futures, hold it overnight, and probably the worst that will happen to you is like $100 win or lose. But you know what? If you are taking a $1,000 account to start with, and you hold one contract overnight and you make $100, which is totally possible, that's 10% on the year. You should be proud of that. And then you cannot trade for the rest of the year. Like, now the problem with that is that things like your commissions and your data fees can be more. But you will lose less money. And that's the problem. It's like all of the things that go through people's heads when they're thinking about, should I do a prop firm, are all kind of premised on the thought that, like, you know, I could make this much money, when the probability is that they will not pass, that they will lose, that over, even if they get funded, that eventually they will blow the account and they will lose money. So when you look at what's most likely to happen, you should be trying to preserve the capital as long as you can. Okay, see what I use this tool, Tube Ranker, and when I search for, oh my gosh, it changed on me. changed on me. When I searched for prop firm, it was telling me there was only a few thousand searches for that a month. But then if I search for funded trading, it gives me a lot. So I guess I should call it funded trading. In the title, at least. In the title, at least. So I got that one, and I got one about the biggest misconceptions about order flow. And I think I can get those written up and recorded this week, potentially. Is it the problem with the prop firm? Or it is a problem with the prop firm? Because again, so look at the numbers of it. So the prop firm sets itself up so that it can give you similar leverage to trading your own live account. And so like if you look at you're allowed to trade 5 contracts over here for, you know, like 5 ES contracts, that would be, you know, $2,500 worth of margin plus another 500 to keep you up for the last contract. And you know, that would be 3,000, right? Oh, well, what do you know? That's the target. That's the target that they're going for, right? So they're essentially, if you were to go and trade with your own account, you would, to trade the same size, you would need a $3,000 account, and then you'd be looking to make $3,000. So they are basically challenging you to double your account. That's what the combine is, essentially, is double your account. Okay. So you just realize the amount of risk that they're having you take on, the aggressiveness of your trading is so aggressive that you are is essentially guaranteed to blow up at some point. So the prop firm essentially pushes you towards strategies that aren't going to really work long term. And it pushes you away from the sorts of things that you could do and trade for a really, really long time. Right? Like swing trading, for instance. You're not going to swing trade because they don't allow you to hold overnight. It's kind of funny. Like, why have they never allowed you to hold overnight? Like, why can't I just pay for the large account, but then if I'm only trading one contract, I'm allowed to hold overnight? You know, just an account with more with a larger account size. Why don't they let you hold overnight? It's because their math doesn't work anymore. Because if everybody was swing trading, probably most people would make money, slight amount of money, if not perform on par with the market itself. And then they wouldn't have enough people failing combines. They wouldn't have enough money to fund everybody. They wouldn't make money. And they would be making, you know, they would be making what they could make if they just put the money into the market. So it wouldn't make any sense, right? So it is the prop firm. The prop firm pushes you towards strategies that I don't think are good for you. Well, I didn't expect them to reach those highs, but there's them pushing through that line we got. So I'm a little bit concerned, though. We haven't really seen what the news is. This really does look to me like a news-driven move. I think that it could be because they're expecting something from Israel strikes and whatnot. So they could keep going on this one. But they did just come to a relatively strong spot. Yeah, there's a strong bid. There's 2 strong bids right there at 20 and 19.5. Well, yeah, they give you risk for a fee. You get 75,000 in risk for 3,400. That's all true, but probably you just blow the account, right? You trade the account, and meanwhile, what have you lost? You've lost time. You've lost time where you could have been learning a good strategy that is long-term sustainable. And instead you're wasting it essentially gambling. Part of the reason I think I want to make a video is because I have these Monte Carlo results that I think people would find interesting. But anyways. Thinking about if I think that the flows are going to continue through here. But what I've seen is that there was some order flow driving up in the 30-year, but not really in the 10-year. No, they're not a scam. They are for suckers. It's the difference, right? Like they're offering a legitimate service, and the service is what they tell you it is. I do think that the way that some of them are doing it may be actually a bucket shop that should have that the law should get involved in. But like Top Step Trader is a great example. I think it's a legitimate business. Okay, but I think that by and large it's for suckers. That the people that are doing it are people that don't really have enough information to suggest that they're really actually going to pass it and make money. Enough information. I don't know how to put that. Like, if you were a proven trader and you knew that you could pass that, then you wouldn't need the combine. You would just already have an account. Right. So that's why I say it's for suckers. It literally preys upon people in the hopes that they will pass, when by and large they're not. And the few that do pass, they're lucky. There's like 30% chance that you're just going to pass by sheer dumb luck. And really the way that it works is they just make you trade so leveraged that, you're going to get lucky at some point. And meanwhile, they just keep making all of their money from people failing. Or let me put it this way. If you didn't have to pay money to enter into the combine or whatever you want to call it, they wouldn't make money. Right? Because too many people would fail it. Like what if they were partnered with a broker? Right? You're funding your own account. Maybe you're trading sim. You trade in this sim account and you do well enough in this sim account, but it's your account. You're not paying them a monthly fee. It's your account. Then they'll fund you, right? That wouldn't work because they need the $150 a month from you to be profitable. They do make you trade with high leverage. Like, quite frankly, it's ridiculous that you can trade 5 ES contracts on those things. That's insane. Okay, obviously you don't want to trade the full clip, but even one contract is really leveraged, actually. Because again, they're asking you to essentially double your account. They're basically asking you to take the day trading margin that you have to have, the $2,500 in day trade margin plus 500 to as the buffer, and asking you to double that. That's really aggressive trading. See, like, why isn't it smaller? Why isn't it like you can only trade 2 contracts, but you only have to make this much? And the percentage is way, way lower. Like, it's not just 1/5 of that. What would be 1/5 of that? 3,000 divided by 5, let's say 600. Let's say we're going to do 2 of those. So 1,200. But let's say half. Okay. So you're allowed to trade, let's say you're allowed to trade 2 contracts, but you only have to make $600. Why not? Why are the percentages set the way that they are for them? Because they need enough people to fail. They want you to trade aggressively so that enough people fail it. Yeah, I just trying. Well, I think the thing that you don't realize, Trading Wizard, is that I've been doing this for like 7 years now. Wait, when did we start? 2016. So 4 plus 3, 7 years, almost 8 years. So it will be 8 years in April. Okay, and we'd been through the whole prop firm thing, man. This whole time. I did prop firms at the very, very beginning. I've done sponsored videos with prop firms. I went through the whole thing with them wanting to do an affiliate link, and then, the one firm kind of turning out to be run by an outright scammer, even though that didn't mean that the company was a scam, but and them going back and forth with me on that video and all this sort of stuff. Like I've been through the whole thing already. I feel pretty confident in what I'm saying about that. And I'm going to be providing information to people that they don't have. Like a Monte Carlo simulation suggests that you should pass the combine 30% of the time, just by pure dumb luck. So if it takes you more than 3 times to pass the combine, then it's kind of like maybe your strategy sucks. Like, yeah, the reason that they don't allow you to trade the bonds anymore is because the order book in the Rhythmic Simulator is easy to cheat. So most people haven't really messed with this enough, but I have, and I can tell you how you cheat it, okay? And I've told people this before, and it's kind of funny that it's only been until now that it finally became a big enough thing that they stopped you from doing it. Because I've been telling people for years, like, here's how you would cheat it if you want. Could probably pass a combine just by doing this. If it's sitting here at 17.5, and you put a limit order in at 17.5, it's not going to fill you unless those 700 contracts or whatever it is that's on there in front of you are filled. Okay? But if you put something in at 17, so you're at the back of the line, it's 3,000 contracts. It moves up and then comes back down to you. When it comes back down to you, it's like it only keeps track of your spot in the queue if it's like the most recent price. So if it moves away, all of a sudden it thinks you're at the front of the queue. So when it comes back, so then you do an alligator. It comes back and then you do an alligator. You say, I'm going to sell 17.5, and then only one contract has to go through at 17 for you to get filled. And that's how you do it. Nah, I think the only legit reason to do a sim prop account is that you're doing something degenerate that you don't want to do with your own money. Like, I think that if I was going to do it, I would do all of the dumb things. Double down. Targets are much shorter than the stops. Those sorts of things. But in all honesty, part of it is to just be inflammatory. Part of it is to just be because everybody wants to talk about it. It is the subject within our community. Why wouldn't I take advantage of that? FGBL, that's the Eurobonds, right? Yeah. Oh yeah, Eurobond futures. You know, I've never been able to trade them myself because I don't pay for the Eurex data. But if you're in Europe, I think that would be a good opportunity to trade. There's some significant differences to the way that the treasuries trade. They're a little bit more of a thin-ticked instrument, but yeah, I think you could trade them. I think that you'd be better off trading bonds than index, equity index futures. Like that's my other really big pet peeve, is that the majority of retail traders are trying to trade equity index futures. And I think that you are less likely to be able to develop a real edge in equity index futures compared to other instruments. Because equity index futures are just like more random than other things. So, of course, retail traders like them because they're technical analysis strategies that are really just taking on risk will at least appear to work well in the beginning with those. But the reality is that there's no edge to it. Eventually, you'll take enough losses. That's why these people always lose the accounts. Versus, like, if you're oil, you're an informed trader in oil. You know what's going on over there. You can develop a real edge in oil. I don't think I have that edge. Some things about the oil markets confuse me often. Maybe if I came from Saudi Arabia, understood Saudi Arabian politics and OPEC politics, and knew something about the oil industry and all, then I could have that edge in oil. But I think the best place to develop that kind of an edge is here in the treasuries. That's why it's kind of funny. Again, they don't let you trade treasuries anymore. Well, I understand why, but it's kind of funny. Well, that just means if you're serious and you want to trade treasuries, you have to do it with your own account. And you know what? There's really no reason to trade the prop firms if you're going to trade treasuries anyways, because the margin on the treasury futures is low enough that you can trade those with a small account. Ergo, I still say they're for suckers. Funded trader programs are for suckers. I don't like the going with funded trader programs are for suckers because that's like a long title. Maybe I should just say prop firms are for suckers because that's shorter. I can say prop firms are for suckers in the thumbnail, and then I can say why funded trader programs are, I don't know. Why funded trader programs aren't that great of a deal or something like that. For the keywords. I'll make some videos though, man. I haven't made a whole lot of videos, and yeah, see, if I say prop firms are for suckers, then you're also addressing SMB Capital, and they're a completely different setup. You're right. But I'm just saying, like, that's what everybody calls them, though, is prop firms. Well, you got to be specific, but that's where it's like, you know what? If it upsets people and it causes them to comment, then all the better, right? As long as I'm providing value with my content, which I think that I would be. Say simulated prop firms, maybe. Well, in that video, I think the first thing that I would start out by is by saying, you know, I don't really like the term prop firms because that's what people are using. But to me, a prop firm is something very different. A prop firm is somebody that, like, they pay you a salary and they're like invested in you and all that sort of stuff. Well, I'm not going to say anything inaccurate about them. I don't know. If I say, hey, you get funded and you're not trading actually against the market, that's not a prop firm or a funded trader program. That's a bucket shop. Well, are you going to sue me about that? Let's see. Maybe I would need to present it a different way. We'd need to be like, you know, there's this other thing that used to exist where, you know, you actually just trade against the shop and your orders aren't going to the market. Those are called bucket shops or CFDs. And those are illegal here. Just saying. Implying it, but not necessarily outright saying that these are illegal. Because when I tell you what, man, where did I go? Where did I go? When I come over here and I look at these and there's like these videos that I've never heard of before, from people that like have 450,000 subscribers. How did all of these people get me, man? How did these people get me? My channel is so much more valuable than some of these other buffoons that I see out there on YouTube. And I need a gap. So now is a good time to make a couple of videos that are videos that we know will do well. Because the videos that I think are the most beneficial to you, I already made. Well, yeah, so that's why I say I'm not going to call it a scam. I'm going to say they're for suckers. I am totally jealous. I'm 100% jealous. I think I have every reason to be. Like, if I come in here and I'm making content that is empirically backed and that is really beneficial to my audience, and then the YouTube algorithm doesn't pick up on that, and other YouTube channels that are just giving you trash are the ones that go through, I think I should totally be jealous about that. And I don't think that there's any shame in saying that. But it's not so much as it is jealous as it is kind of mad that the YouTube algorithm promotes tripe instead of things that would actually be beneficial to traders. Although maybe the thing that would be most beneficial to most day traders is just tell them to not trade, right? What content do you provide that makes you different? There is nobody on YouTube that covers any of the subjects that I do about empirically proven behaviors of markets and order flow. Nobody else is going to talk about what the square root law of market impact is. Nobody else talks about Almgren Chris. Nobody talks about liquidity holes. These are all behaviors about the markets that are proven. And there's all of this literature about it. And I'm telling you about the literature, and nobody else on YouTube covers this crap. Well, this stuff. I have done it. If you go and you watch my order flow video series, that's where we talk about all that stuff. I don't think I have ever seen you take a trade. You know, I have not been trading very much, though, lately, Trading Wizard. Now would have been the time where I would be looking to take on more risk. I'm kind of glad that I've sat on the sideline today, because otherwise I would have been, hey, the momentum is going to come in and push the treasuries down, and I probably would have been going for a short and ate some of that, is my guess. But I lost my day job and I'm just not in a position to really take on a whole lot of risk right now. So that's, but hopefully, you know, the next period, like the beginning of the year, that's when I really should be trading the most aggressively. That tends to be the best period for me, is the beginning of like the first 3 months of the year. The empirically proven behaviors of markets can't be turned into tradable strategies. So it's going to turn off the retail brain. They want lines, flashy lines. Yep, that's exactly it. Well, let's not say it's the empirically proven behaviors of markets are not a complete strategy. They can help your strategies, though. They can help your strategies, and it kind of gives you a strong suggestion about what type of a strategy you should go for. Basically, what we know about the market kind of suggests that trying to trade based purely on technical analysis, to day trade based purely off of technical analysis, is kind of a fool's game. Doesn't mean that technical analysis can't help you to some extent, but you really want to be an informed trader. That's really where the most opportunity is going to be for you as a retail trader on a day trading time frame. Right? So it's beneficial, but yeah, it's they might not pick it up. Plus, you know, I'm talking about things that like the YouTube algorithm is like people aren't searching for. You know what I mean? How to really know if you can well, I don't think that you can, Knowledge Geek. I really don't think that you can. Like, I'm kind of sitting here saying, yeah, you can trade and you can at the very least trade well enough to be able to continue trading, that you make enough from it to like cover your expenses and stuff. But the idea of making a living from it is a pipe dream, essentially. And while you can develop an edge, that edge is going to change every day, essentially, right? And so how much edge you have that day is a function of how well you understand the market relative to everybody else. And that's a constantly moving thing. So can you really be consistent with it? Probably not. You're going to have some periods where you understand the market really well and your market is really trending, and then you can make some money. And then there's going to be other times where maybe the market's trending and you don't understand it and you kind of just sit on the sidelines. Or there's going to be periods where it just doesn't do anything. Okay, then what do traders in banks or SMB capital traders do? Well, so let's put SMB aside because they're a completely different thing. Okay. Although I do have a bit of evidence to suggest that a lot of what SMB is doing is looking for informational inefficiencies, right? But the banks and so forth, essentially what they are doing is they're utilizing strategies that don't really require them to know. That, you know, like if I come in here and I put limit orders at every price, generally speaking, you're going to make money. Now, that alone would not be a profitable long-term strategy because when there's a trend against you, you're going to get slaughtered. So there's the secret sauce in their strategies are all of these other things about like how much order flow can I have going against me before I'm going to turn around and puke, and utilizing arbitrage and other things like that in order for me to, you know, but their real edge is like being first, being at the front of the queue, and that's their edge. Right? You can't have that edge, right? Or part of their edge is executing for other people. Somebody else has already decided that they need to buy and sell, and they say, I'm not good at executing it, so I'm going to have you execute it. And then all you have to do is execute it for better than the price that you quoted the customer, and you make money. That's the way that like these banks and so forth are making money from markets. They're making money from facilitating other people's trades, and they don't have to make any kind of a directional call or anything like that about, you know, which way the market is going to go or anything like that. Yeah. Or they're charging fees, etc. Things that we can't do as retail traders, right? So retail trader, you kind of have to Gonna have to be able to predict the order flow over the time frame that you're gonna be taking your trade. That simple. Yep, or invest in longer term macroeconomic hypotheses. Yes. And that's where I think that day trading has the most value, is that you're here on the front lines, you know what's going on, and you get really good feedback from the markets, and that can really, really help your longer term investments. You have a better idea of what long term investments to make and how to manage them better, and so on and so forth. That's how I'm able to be in this house and things like that. It's because I knew what interest rates were doing back then and was able to make good choices. I knew that the housing market was likely to get super tight in the future when all of the millennials suddenly all want to buy houses at the same time. I knew that going as far back as 2012. I remember coming home 2012, 2013 time frame and telling my wife at the time every day, like, we can't do anything. We have to scrimp and save every dollar that we have so that we can get into a house. Because if we don't do it now, we probably won't be able to get into one. And I was right. And it was in part because of all of the market watching that I was doing from day trading at the time. This was before I was doing futures, but I was still watching it bar by bar. Let's see here. I didn't see that. Can you answer that trading is not a valuable job in society? Well, it is a valuable job in society, though. The market is really the only way that we have to bring all of the information together. It's just impossible to know everything about supply and demand and calculate it fairly and everything. So we have to have a market. And that means that there has to be people providing liquidity and trading and you know, lots of different types of people doing things to have a really healthy, full functioning market. There has to be a certain amount of noise. And, you know, one of the problems that we have in our society right now is that we've given so much of this to the robots. And when things get volatile, the robots just turn off. The robots just turn off, and then there's nobody left to actually provide liquidity to the markets, and things go all haywire. We would really benefit more from having more people that actually know what's going on and are attempting to be informed traders in the market and trading. It's a very valuable thing that we need people to understand. And more broadly, there are things about the way that the market works that I think have pretty profound societal implications, and I wish more people understood them. But everybody just kind of, you know, brushes it off. It's like, yeah, the market is efficient, so it'll just handle it. Well, one of those key things that I think people should know is that the market is not efficient. So you really can't just rely on the market to always do the right thing. We should do things based on what we think is right and not necessarily based on what we think the market will do. Because some of the worst decisions that we're making these days that are holding our society back are because we just do what we think the market's going to do. If trading was not possible, no one will do. Well, I don't agree with that at all. If it was really, like, literally impossible to make money from trading long term, there would still be plenty of people that, it's just like there's plenty of people that gamble, right? Like in gambling, unless you're doing poker, there's essentially no long-term edge. Or you're playing like a slot machine, okay? There's no long-term edge in playing slot machines, but plenty of people will do it still, because plenty of people can make money in the short term, even though over the long term they're going to be a loser, right? Human beings are simply incapable of seeing the long-term probabilities. Once you get something past Dunbar's number, once you get above like 250 individual things, the human brain can't really actually comprehend it anymore. And the human brain does not naturally comprehend fat-tailed distributions. Our brains are prone to, finding outliers and discarding them. Just saying that, well, that one doesn't count. That's like a rare thing that never happens. Right? Our brains are really good at doing regression and normal distributions, and we naturally understand those and work with those on our own. But when it comes to a fat-tailed distribution, we just don't see it. And that's why humans continually over and over and over again pile headfirst into these fat-tailed strategies that are losers in the long term. Because they just don't think that the fat tail is ever going to happen or happen to them. They do it for the same reasons that people thought that you could take chicken bones and throw them into a circle on the ground and predict the future. Right? Because somebody at one time did that and accurately predicted the future, and so everybody said, see, it works, off of one sample point. And but anyways, there are things in our field that people want to talk about, like prop firms. I think that this discussion about some misconceptions about order flow would be a valuable thing. How much money should you have for an account would be another thing. I think that there's some videos that we can make that will be more like what the YouTube audience is typically searching for. That came down awfully quick, didn't it? Anyways, build the channel up, and then once when we do that, and the people are coming through, we have all of this really great high quality content that they can watch that will actually teach them things about the valuable stuff about the market. So we should do that. And our channel is in a good spot to where it could really grow quickly. One video could really make it pop off. Most people will say if you know so much about trading and you don't trade yourself, most people will. Well, now isn't a good time for me to trade, unfortunately. But I have to take at least one trade a month. I take at least one trade a month. But I don't take a trade every day. I don't know. That's kind of a funny thing about it, is that like a lot of people expect you to always be in it. And in the beginning of our stream, we were like almost always in a trade, but well, part of what I'm trying to teach you is, hey, maybe you shouldn't be trading, right? That is part of what I'm trying to teach. Right? Because I'm saying the amount of edge that you can get is super, super small. So like most of the time, you really probably shouldn't trade. I don't really think that what I do most of the time should really be considered scalping. But maybe part of that is because scalping is such a broad term anyways and means whatever people want it to mean. I call what we do informed trading. We're waiting for an informational inefficiency. And hey, you know what? Like if you go all year and you're not, informed enough on the market compared to the rest of the market, to really have that advantage all year, and so you don't take a trade all year, then you don't take a trade all year. Right? But I am teaching you things about the markets that are going to help you. It's just like, is it going to help you enough to make you a quote unquote profitable trader and make a living from it? Probably not, but you stand a better chance of doing that than with this information than without it. And it's really the only information that we have out there that can really help you in that way. Because the stuff that other people are teaching you is junk. Stuff that other people are teaching is like not backed by evidence. Do you ever work with QT? No, no, know what you mean by QT. Anyways, I got into that by we were talking about scalping. Like an ideal trade for me is I take it at the very beginning of the day and I just hold it. And it just trends up all day. That's like my ideal thing. So I, if I can take something, I can hold it for 2.5 hours and make a decent profit off of it, then I'm going to do that, right? I don't really think that counts as a scalp. Oh, it is for C++ programming. Oh, I get you. Yeah, I've never worked with that. I haven't done a whole lot of C++ programming on my own, to be honest with you. And definitely not GUI programming in C++. I didn't know that Spotify was done with Qt, though. I'm surprised. I thought that Spotify was like one of those Electron apps where like the desktop app is actually just showing you a web browser page. Well, you should totally buy the No BS trading book. I wouldn't say that that's a complete thing, but it's a good start. Gary Norton, if you have the money, I guess, but it's kind of expensive. But the thing with the Gary Norton is that that's something super, super niche. Like that's, again, like the chances of you making money from that, it's super hard. Like you have to find the right market and everything. Well, I'm not talking about the server side. I'm talking about like the desktop application they got. I'm talking about this thing. Like, I didn't think that this was made out of Qt. I thought that this was a web page in its own little window. As far as you know, it should be Qt. Anyways. I don't know. You can't expect me to be coming in and taking a lot of trades when, like, I'm having trouble putting food on the table, do you? Especially not with a, $1,000 account or a $2,000 account. I could take the stuff, the extra that I have, and put it in there and have a $2,000 account, but like, really, come on. That wouldn't be very prudent. But we can make videos. I'm going to provide you real information. And you're probably looking for, the video that's going to make you money, but that doesn't exist. So would you rather me give you the best information that we have, or would you rather I just lie to you like everybody else, right? Oh, well. I do what I can. This is what I got. I'm going to work with what I got. I'm going to provide the best content that I have. And you know what? There's going to be a lot of other YouTube channels that I think are just providing trash that are still going to do better than us. But I think we can do a lot better than we have. And we've done pretty darn good. Like, we have pretty darn good numbers. But I really think we can get this channel a lot larger. The last time that we had a video that like did really, really well, I don't think that we really had the back catalog of content that to really keep people coming. And I wasn't putting content out consistently enough, So here, if I put out a video every week or every other week, I think I think that we could bring the channel up big time. At least, I don't know. I need to make like I need to make up a difference of $1,300, which I can take out of my savings, but I would rather not. So that's our goal. I think we can do that. And yeah, part of it will be by telling people, hey, Prop Firm is a pipe dream. Well, but I do trade my words though, but just because I don't take trades every day. But we do put all that information in things. It's just that it's not guaranteed that you're going to make money from it. Is it possible to trace market makers' orders back and then mark them like this orders are market makers? These orders, no. Wish that there was. I wish that there was a way to identify individual traders. Something that I will say, that I think from our inventory cost basis strategy, or indicator that we've got, like when you look at the liquidity that's being provided and everything, there's not that many of them. There's not that many really big market making firms out there. It's maybe like 4 guys and they're each providing $1,000 in liquidity or whatever the deal is, right? And so because it is actually so centralized, our model over here about where the market maker's average positioning is and all of that tends to work pretty good. Like earlier, remember we said that they crossed the line there at that point, and what do you know? That was as far as they got. Now, there's something missing from this that we could do, but I'm not paying for the data. And that is, if we had market by order data, we could potentially determine when orders are stop orders. And we could use that to determine when the market maker is rebalancing by taking a loss. So that would probably be about the closest that you could get to what you want and stuff. I don't think that it comes off as a snake oil, because what am I doing? I'm just giving you the data, right? So I'm not coming in and making promises to people and saying you're going to do this or that or any of that. I'm just saying here is the empirical evidence, like of the things that are about the market that we can prove. These are them, and that's what and these are the things that information suggests, and you can take it whatever way you want. The big thing is that a lot of the information that we have directly contradicts a lot of retail traders, long-held beliefs about the markets. So, at the very most, if I dissuade you from a bad strategy, then I've done something good, I think. Do you think you can develop a strategy that's tradable on most days? Well, so I think that I could do something that is tradable most days and most days would make money, but would be prone to blow up at some point. Right. So then if I was doing that, I could put it on a prop firm account and do the things that these people are using to pass prop firm accounts. But I think that would be doing a disservice to people, because that would be teaching them something and encouraging them to do something that's not viable long term. Octavius has the MBO data on Sierra. Really just need to write it in Sierra charts, right? Because I have a theory that if we're able to quantify or estimate when they're puking, when they're reducing their inventory by puking, you should be able to make a good call about when it's likely to turn around based on how much inventory they have. Yeah, if you teach people how to pass a prop firm by that, well, we'll do that in the video, but I'm not going to call it how to pass a prop firm, right? Here's my strategy to pass a prop firm account to get to become a funded trader. Okay, take one trade a day, make $350, $400 on that one trade, make or lose, and then you only do one a day. and you just randomly pick your direction. Make the trade completely random so that whether you win or you lose should be completely random. Okay. And then you do that 3 times. Like you have 3 accounts, and they're all random. Okay. By pure random chance, you should pass it 33% of the time, 40% of the time. So if you do 3 of them, pretty good chance that one of them will pass. And that's how you would do it. Yeah, we could take a... Well, I don't know if I really want to take one here. It's kind of late. We only have 30 minutes. But I have been taking... if you go back and you look on last Friday, last Thursday, and last Wednesday, I took sim trades. So... But I think another thing here is like I did make a video that was basically like, here's a proven strategy that you can use. And it's an empirically backed one. And it shows you the performance of that strategy over like the last 30 years. It's called Trading Momentum. You go back on my channel, you go back like 2 or 3. It's not a day trading strategy, but it is a profitable strategy. Just saying. Really, this all comes down to the qualifiers that you put on it, right? We want a strategy where you're trading a single instrument and with a small account on a day basis where you're only here for like 3 hours or whatever, and you make money every day. That's the kind of strategy that we're looking for, right? And I'm just saying, I don't think it actually exists in the market anymore. Or if it does exist, you are extremely unlikely to find it. That's why what most retail traders are doing is they're just taking risk. There's no edge to what they're doing, but because they take on so much risk, their trades work out most of the time anyways. And then when they blow up, they pick up the pieces and start again and nobody notices. They are essentially gambling. Yeah. But I don't know, man. If you really want to day trade, if you just want to be involved, who's to say that the gambling is any worse than coming in and trying to be an informed trader and only taking trades when you really think you have a strong edge? And if you don't trade all month, so be it. Is that really better? Does that really make us better than the gamblers? I don't think it does. There'll always be 5 to 10 points of well, if you're just calling opportunity movement, then sure, yeah. To me, opportunity is like situations where we really have a strong edge. Not in NQ, I don't think that's true. I think that most of what goes on over there is noise. Just get good at gambling, I guess. Yeah, we could. I think I would want to do it like with if I come in here with treasuries and I just use like 3 contracts and get 4 ticks and whatnot. Like that'd be fine. Sure. I'd have to think a lot. So the issue is to really do this the right way. I'd want to go and do it on MES or on CL, and then I have to do that. And my reading the order flow over there kind of messes up your pick on the treasuries. And I would rather just focus on the treasuries and continue developing that intuition. I think that part of the thing is we do this and we get to a point in a year or two where we're really able to push it with the risk and take big risks and make some money. And then everybody, if we make a few $1,000s and everybody's like, oh, you're such a great trader. And, you know, then I'll be talking about all of these years where everybody just said, oh, you never take trades and yada, yada, yada. It was like, you know, everybody wants it now, and they're not willing to take the several years of effort that it takes to really set yourself up for success, you know? But if we're just here and we're watching the markets and we're having a good discussion, we are accomplishing something. We're making ourselves better traders. In the long run, it will pay off. It might not directly come from your day trading activities, but in the long run, it pays off. Intuition, is that a big word? So that's the other video. So the 4 videos I think I've got in the pipeline now are a video on intuition, a video on how large of an account should you really have to day trade, a video on why prop firms are for suckers, and a video on the most common misconceptions about order flow. So there's 4. And then the one that's already recorded and should be released next Monday, are index funds evil? I'd say that's a pretty good broad covering, and so then we can look at which of those end up doing the best and make more content on those. Like, if the one about prop firms does the best, then we can make a bunch of videos about doing silly things with prop fund accounts, right? I guess the prop accounts, if I could do one that's like, let's just take 10 combines and like 3 of them should pass. But that's why they have all these rules about like that it can't be random and all of that sort of stuff. Because there are people probably have been doing that. And then, you know, the account that gets funded, they just trade that. Just saying. Well, I am really, really surprised that my son has not thrown up during our session here. Will I have enough time to come in here and do some applications? Fingers crossed. There's one, but it's in Ogden. I don't want to move up to Ogden. Yuck. Check out ExxonMobil. Ooh, mama. Well, it's been on a run lately. It is a trend. Man. Dude, if this thing, jeez. If we had, if oil really went higher, they'd be making so much bank. But interestingly enough, in 2021, well, I guess it's kind of when it started. That's nuts. Apparently, sirens are sounding in central Israel at the moment. I see, LinkedIn, you've been holding back on me. 3 days ago. You didn't show me that one on Friday. 2 days ago. I want to maybe give you a pass on. Oh, here you go. Software development engineer. Ensign Peak Advisors. Isn't that the LDS Church's hedge fund? Oh, man. Oh, this one totally. I'm really qualified to do this one, man. I like the pair trade long XOM and short Duke. There's so many jobs that I think I'm very, very qualified for. And yeah, I should be getting more back than I am. Like this is I'll have a big batch today. Well, that's probably a good stack. Let's see here. Oh yeah. 2 pages worth. I got my work cut out for me. Might not be today though. I might submit these all tomorrow. Depending on how the kids are. Oh, very, very good.
Block cell.
Our return from the headphones come in. These headphones work okay for now, so I think I can continue to use these for a couple of months, and then by then maybe the new Sonys will be out. Maybe I'll take those. We'll see. We'll see what I do. Cool, cool. Hmm. 10 years acting a little bit weird here. Like, there is some selling. I'm kind of wondering if, the buying has been short-term concerns about tensions in Israel and everything, but that the longer-term players have been selling it, because I do see some signs of it selling here in this area around 16 in particular. Now, that could be, in part, people bailing on earlier positions, so take that with a grain of salt. But I don't know if we really got a whole lot else. I've kind of been quiet here because I've been looking at a few things, but we'll get a better day tomorrow and the rest of this week. So we can get past the current challenges, then things look really up for us after that. So, guys, I will see you tomorrow. Stay excellent.